Welcome to part 3 of analysis of the portal frame. In last video we have decided the final design values of a beam, column and footing. Right now in that we'll design the beam. So third step is design of beam. So draw the design of the beam. In this, draw that mid portion of the portal frame, that is BC, and just observe the bending of the BC whenever UDL acts on that BC. At that time the bending diagram will be somewhat like this. So you can see here bending diagram, and where the tension will be developed here at the bottom of the beam in the mid span, and at support it is at above, means below beam it is in the mid span, and here in the upper portion in the support. So we need to remember this while drawing the bending diagram. And when we go for detailing of the beam, when we draw the bars, at that time we should have to take care that wherever tension has been developed, there the main reinforcement has to be provided, and other part we can provide 50% of the reinforcement. Right, now let's draw the support cross section. So actually this is beam, and here this is depth of flange, that means thickness of the slab, it is 150 mm, and here tension is developed at the upper part of this near the support. So this is for support cross section. This is support cross section, and overall depth of this beam is, you know that it is 550, and width is 250 mm. So similarly we can draw a mid span section also, mid span cross section. So wherever it is hashed, that is showing the tension. So in mid span tension is at the bottom, you can see here, and in support section tension is at the top. So wherever I have hashed here, this is showing tension. So this is also showing tension, and here this is the cut section of the slab. Again it is 150 mm, and mid span cross section of the beam. Right now we'll write neglecting tension zone. Neglecting tension zone. Support cross section is designed like a rectangular beam. That is B equals to 250 mm. Next point, mid-span cross section is designed like T-beam. So this is that mid-span cross section, taking, that is B equals to BF. Here this is equals to B, and this must be equals to BF. IS code has given how to calculate this width of the flange, that is BF equals to L0 by 6 plus 6 DF plus BW. You can refer page number 37 of IS 456. So L0 is equals to 0.7 L. It's also given in page number 37. You can refer and see. So calculate this L0 equals to 0.7. What is the length of the beam? Beam length is 6.6 meter, as we know that, and it comes around 4.62 meter, and it is 4620 mm. Therefore, BF equals to, you just write down this formula, substitute the value. L0 is 4620 divided by 6 plus 6 into DF is 150, that is depth of the slab, plus BW is the width of the web, that is beam width, that is 250. So substitute in this formula and you will be getting BF as 1920 mm. After this, let's design a support cross section. Right now we need to remember this, whenever we are designing a support cross section, B has to be taken 250, and when we design a mid span cross section, BF has to be taken as 1920. That's it. So we'll go for next part of this. First one in this, design of support cross section of beam. So we already know that mu equals to, from design values, so we know bending moment at the support of the beam was 88.9 kilonewton meter, and width of the beam was 250 mm. Depth of the beam is 550 mm, overall depth of the beam, and I'll reduce it by 40 mm cover. So I'll get effective depth of the beam, that is 510 mm. Next we need to calculate what is area required for this. Mu equals to 88.9 into 10 raised to 6 equals to 0.87. Fy is 415. AST, depth of the beam is 510. 1 minus AST 415 Fy, then BDFCK. So B is 250, D is effective depth, FCK is given 20, characteristic strength of concrete. So if you calculate AST out of this, you will get 528.2. For this we need to calculate number of, use 12 mm pi bars and above dia. So I am using here 16 mm pi. So how many numbers required for this is this 528.2 divided by pi by 4 into 16 square. So I will require 3 numbers. So in support section I require 3 numbers of 16 mm pi bars. So while doing the design we will recollect these values. Next step, similarly we have to design support cross section. So it is design of mid span. And here we need to remember that B equals to BF, which we have calculated it as 1920 mm. Similarly, mu, we know that mid span bending moment was 119.48, 10 raised to 6.87. I need to calculate AST here. AST, D is 510. 1 minus AST 450. So B is BF here 1920, D is 510, 20. So remember this, AST equals to 658.04 mm square. So for this again you can use 12 mm pi bars and above. So number of 16 mm pi bars are required. 658.04 divided by pi by 4 to 16 square. So approximately 4 number of bars are required in the mid span. So in the support we require 3 number of bars, and in the mid span of the beam we require 4 number of the bars. Next step is to go for design of shear. So we need to design for shear design. Nominal shear stress. Calculate what is nominal shear stress, that is tau V equals to Vu upon Bd. What is Vu? Vu is the reaction 126.29 support reaction into 10 raised to 3 Newton, and B and D for the beam 250 by 510. I'll get tau V as 1 Newton per mm square. Need to compare this tau V with the tau C value. Tau C should be always greater. If it is not, we have to provide the shear reinforcement. So here to get this tau C area reinforcement we need to calculate, that is 100 AST divided by BD equals to 100. What is AST? That is the highest AST we have got near the mid span. 4 number of bars, that is 4 number of 16 mm pi. So it is AST divided by B into D of the beam, that is 0.63, and it is M20. Refer table 19 of IS 456 2000. So in this, for 0.63 and M20, refer the row of M20 and 0.63 column, you will get permissible tau C value as 0.52 Newton per mm square. So here tau C we have got 0.52, where tau V is more than that. So it is unsafe. Tau C is less than tau V. Then we need to provide shear reinforcement. Provide shear reinforcement. I use here 2-legged 8 mm pi stirrups, vertical stirrups. That ASV will come as 100.53 mm square. For this 2-legged 8 mm pi, it will come 100.53. So VUS equals to VU minus tau C BD equals to 0.87 FY ASV D divided by SV. Find the spacing. This is taken by IS 456 page number 73. So put the values. VU is 126.29 10 raised to 3 minus tau C is 0.52. B of the beam is 250. Depth is 510. Effective depth equals to 0.87. Fy is 415. ASV is 100.53. Depth is 510 divided by spacing of vertical stirrups. So we'll get spacing of vertical stirrups as 308 mm. So finally provide 2-legged 8 mm pi stirrups at 300 mm center to center. So always spacing has to be taken lesser value than what we have got. Next we'll move towards design of column, that is the fourth step. So we'll move towards design of column. Step D, I'll write design of column. So here reaction on column or reaction at support is 126.29, that is nothing but load on the column, and bending moment in the column, if you have remembered, it is 88.9 kilonewton meter. So bending moment diagram was like this. So this value was 88.9, this is 44.45 something, and this was 119.4 something. So mid-span beam design we have taken 119, support beam we have taken bending moment 88.9 at support, at mid-span we have taken 119. So for column design, so this is column, this is column, so here also 88.9. So we need to take 88.9 as the bending moment in the column. So assume D dash equals to effective cover. Effective cover for column, here I have taken 50 mm. First one, reinforcement is on all sides, all four sides for the column. Next, second one, grade of steel considered is 415. And third point here we need to remember D dash by D is 50 divided by 450. D dash is the cover, 450 is the depth of the column. So I'll just draw this. So I'll draw the column dimensions what we have considered. This is depth of the column, that is 450 mm, and this is width of the column, we have considered it as 250 mm. So here minimum 4 number of bars will come, and effective depth is this, from center of this to this is taken as D dash. So this D dash is taken as 50 mm. So D dash by D, 50 by 450, D is 450. So it is 0.11, approximately it is 0.15. Referring chart number, we need to refer chart number 45 of SP16. There we'll get the ratio like this, PU upon FCK BD. So PU is 126.29, 10 raised to 3. FCK is 20, B is 250, depth is 450. And we get here this as 0.06. Similarly, MU upon FCK BD square. So substitute 88.9 is the bending moment in column, 10 raised to 6, FCK is 20, B is 250, D square is 450 square. So here we'll get this as 0.09. This is one value and this is one value. If you refer that chart, in that chart one is 0.06 and one is 0.09. So curves are there which will give you the ratio of P by FCK. Just mark them somewhere. This ratio is coming around 0.06. You check in SP16 page number 45. This is 0.06 is along y-axis, 0.09 is along x-axis, that is MU by FCK BD square is x-axis, this one is y-axis. So if you just cut these two lines, vertical line and horizontal line, the point of intersection will give you P by FCK value, which is 0.06 from chart. It is from chart. After this, P by FCK, once we have got from the chart 0.06, it indicates that the percentage of the steel should be used as 0.06 into FCK into 20, which is equals to 1.2% of the steel should be used in column. Therefore, area of steel that is ASC equals to PBD divided by 100. What is P here? 1.2, which we have calculated from the chart. That is B is 250, depth of the column is 450 divided by 100. So here I am getting what is the area required for the column 1350 ASC. You can use the bars 12 mm and above. Here I am using number of 16 mm pi bars. So calculate how many numbers they are required in the column. 1350 divided by pi by 4 into 16 square. So approximately 7 number of the bars are required. We cannot provide odd number of the bars in the column. So we have to approximate it to one even number. That is, I'll take it as 8. So 8 number of bars are provided in the column. Next is design of lateral ties. At the same time, once we substitute the values here. P is 105. So P is 105 kilonewton. Substitute that 105, this formula 105 B into L. Let's assume for try L by B as here B is assumed as 1 meter and P by B into L 6m divided by BL square equals to SBC. If you do this, just substitute the values here. 105 divided by 1 into L plus 6 into 29.63 divided by 1 into L square equals to SBC of the soil. So you are getting L as 1.73, which is approximately 1.8. So right now size of the footing we can take it as 1.8 by 1 meter. 1.8 by 1 meter. For next step for this is, we know that L by B length is 1.8 meter and width is 1 meter. Okay, for the footing. For this we need to calculate what is sigma max and sigma minimum. Here it is again calculated by the same formula, P divided by B into L plus or minus 6m divided by B into L square. So here substitute the value. P we know that it is 105. B is 1 into 1.8 plus or minus 6 times of 29.63 divided by B is 1 and L is 1.8 square. If you do this, we get sigma max equals to 113 Newton per mm square. Sigma minimum equals to 3.46 Newton per mm square. Note that we should not get negative value in this sigma minimum. If we are getting negative value, if we are getting negative value, what should be done? Revise length of footing. Okay, revise the length of footing. This value should not be negative. Right now in my case this is 3.46 and it is positive. Need not to revise any length here. So final values are 1.8 by 1 meter only. So next step, after deciding the dimension of the footing and calculating what is the stress, that is upward soil pressure it is, what is the stress, we need to calculate what is the thickness of the footing. So we have decided only dimensions, that is L and B. We don't know still what is the thickness of footing. So step B is thickness of footing. In this, draw the column and here we know that this is 1.8 meter and other side is 1 meter, but we don't know what is the thickness. And here width of the column is 0.45 by 250. So highest width of the column should be in parallel with the highest width of the footing. So calculate on either side. It is 1.8 meter minus 0.45 meter. You are getting here this one as 0.675 and here also it is 0.675. Okay. Then here draw the upward soil pressure diagram. So this is that 3.46 sigma minimum, maximum is 113. And here draw one critical line here. So calculate what is this value also. So here I'll draw like this. Using the similar triangle concept, we can just calculate what is the value here required. So this value is 3.46 and remaining is this value. This value is 113 minus 3.46. So I'll calculate that 113 minus 3.46. So it is 109. This is 109.54. This height is 109.54. I need to get what is this x value. Say this one is x1 and this one is x2. Use the similar triangular concept and just calculate what is x1 value. Here it is 109.54, this triangle, and this is 1.8 and this one is 0.675 plus 0.45. This width is, so I'll calculate 0.675 plus 0.45. It is 1.125. So it is 1.125 and 109 is this one. I don't know this x is x or x1. If you calculate that x1, you are getting it as 68.46. Just check that value. 109.54 divided by 1.8 into 1.125. Check that x value, 68.46. So it is 68.46. 68 point, but I want this value 68.46 plus 3.46. So it is 71.9. This is 71.92. So I'll just redraw this again just to avoid this clumsiness. This is 3.46. This is 113. Okay, this is that section line. This is 71.9. Okay, then from here onwards I have to have this, and this is one triangle, CG is here. This is one square or a rectangle, this CG is here. So I'll mark this as W1 and this as W2. Okay, so I need to get bending moment at this critical section. I need to get bending moment. So I'll write here mx equals to so calculate what is the triangular height here. That is 113 minus 71.9. 113 minus 71.9. So height of that is 41.1. This is 41.1. So we are about to calculate this mx. So area of this triangle is 1 by 2 into, what is this width? This is 0.675. So 0.675. And what is the height? 41.1. And into, what is the distance? Critical distance, force into moment up to the required point. So this is 2/3. 2/3 of base. Base is 0.675. So 0.675. So one is triangular area, this is triangular area, and this is rectangular area. So plus, I'll just rub it off all this. So this is about the triangular area plus rectangular area. The width of this is 0.675 and height of this is 71.9 into, where is the CG? CG is here, from here to here. That means 0.675 divided by 2. 0.675 divided by 2 equals to, so mx value I am getting it as 22.62 kilonewton meter. So this is mx value. So critical section we are taking here, take the rectangular area as well as triangular area and their CG distance up to the critical point. You will get bending moment. So mx is this much, mu is equals to, that is 22.62 into 1.5. So it is 33.93. Just calculate yourself and get these values. After this, I am interested in calculating what is the depth of the footing. So let's calculate depth of the footing. Using mu limiting, we know the formula, 0.138 FCK/BD square. So here mu limiting I have got is 33.93, right? 33.93 into 10 raised to 6, 0.138, FCK is 20, B is for 1000, that is 1 meter width, so 1000 mm into D square, where I'll get D of this. Just calculate the D. So D I have got here as 110.87 mm. And assuming depth as, so D is 110, 60 mm cover, use 60 mm cover. Depth of the slab is with 60 mm cover, so it is 110.87 plus 60 mm cover, so D is 170.87. So shear consideration, we know that when we consider shear, at that time we need to double the depth.
These are the top results.
Depth. So here 170 into 2, if I do, I'll get around 341. I'll be selecting this D as, instead of 341.75, I just round it off to 350 mm. So my overall depth of this means depth of the slab is 350 mm, and here effective depth is 350 minus 60, that is 290 mm. This is how we calculated the depth of the slab, or this footing of this slab of the footing. So once we have calculated this depth, we need to calculate what is the area of steel required for this. So thickness of footing is over. Next step is we'll write here step C is area of steel required. So we know that already, 33.93 into 10 raised to 6. So 33.93 into 10 raised to 6 equals to 0.87415 AST into 290 D, it is effective depth, then AST 415 divided by BDFCK, it is 1000 for 1 meter length, and 290 and 20. So just calculate this area of steel required for the footing, getting as 301. Provide 10 mm pi bars at, you calculate the spacing, I am getting it as 260 mm center to center. So this is all about the footing. This completes the design of the portal frame. So let's revise briefly in this only what we have done, what are the steps we have done in the portal frame. That is, first step, so here first step we have done is step A, that is design of one-way continuous slab. One-way continuous slab. Just this is brief revise of this portal frame design. Revising. So design of one-way continuous slab. There we have calculated what is the depth of the slab, and we have calculated what is the bending moment in the support as well as span moment. bending moment of the span and support we have calculated. Afterwards, for the same we have designed what is the area of steel required for support and span. And afterwards we have even checked for the depth also. So here depth of the slab we have calculated, and bending moment in the span and support and AST required for that. Then afterwards we have calculated, means we went for step B, that is the analysis of portal frame. Analysis of portal frame. Here we have followed the Carney's method. Carney's method to get the final bending moment values. And we have just calculated what is the bending moment diagram we have drawn, and we came to know that what is the bending moment which is there in the column as well as in the beam. So it was like this parabola. So we came to know that what is the bending moment in the midspan of the beam at the support of the beam, what is the bending moment in the column, what is the bending moment in the footing. That was the step B. And step C was design of beam. So we have done design of beam. There we have drawn what is the how the bending looks like for the fixed beam. So beam was like this, BC, and then we have done what is the where the tension will come, here near the top and here near the bottom in the mid. So we came to know about this, and we have designed the beam in the support and beam in the midspan. We have calculated AST for that. Then fourth step was step 4, that means it is fourth. After design of beam, design of column. We have done for design of column. We have already knew that what is the size of the column, we knew already. So reaction coming on the column is taken as PU, and we have calculated even MU also we know from the Carney's method. Then we have taken the help of the chart that is available in SP16. Chart number 45, and we have decided what is the percentage of the steel required, that is P is 1.2 is required. Then we have calculated what is the ASC required for that. Then we have decided what is the lateral ties required at what spacing. Lateral ties at the spacing also we have calculated, spacing of the lateral ties. Then afterwards step E was, this is step D actually, not fourth one. Step E was design of footing. So we have done design of footing. In this we have decided first what is the size of footing. Size of footing, that is L and B, where B is assumed and L is calculated with the help of the formula. Then we have checked for sigma max and sigma minimum, and then we know that sigma minimum should not come negative. If it is coming negative, then revise the length. Okay. Then afterwards in this only we have calculated what is the thickness of footing. Once we have decided with L and B, we have decided what is the thickness of the footing. We have calculated thickness of the footing. Then with the help of having critical section in the footing, then we have calculated what is the area of steel required for the footing. Once we have decided with L, B and D, area of steel required for the footing. This completes the design of the design of the portal frame. Okay, so this actually have 5 major steps. Then afterwards we'll learn about how to give the detailing in the next video. Thank you.